Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Swag.
Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
One of the oldest tracks on the NASCAR circuit, goes by many nicknames. The Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. We simply refer to it here tonight, though, as Darlington, the site of the next OiL Xfinity Series playoff race, coming to you live from Vspeed. It is right in the middle of our round of 12 here. Last week at Kansas was the first race of the second round. Drew Prohl walked away with a surprising victory, his first of the season, to lock himself into the round of 8. But 11 more hungry drivers looked to try and clinch their way into the round of 8 with a win here tonight at one of the most uniquely shaped and challenging tracks in all of NASCAR. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alex Gagnon, and alongside me in the booth, giving you all the camera shots you know and love, it is producer Christian Hill. Taking a quick look tonight at the point standings coming into Darlington. You can see it on your screen, those names in gold, the ones who have or who are in the playoff mix, everyone not in gold, the ones who are on the outside at this point. The win last week from Drew Prohl, while points-wise he may be down below some of those drivers ahead of him, he has locked himself in with the victory. Those like Alex Penn and Michael Kostick, though, in really strong shape to advance on points, even if they don't get the victory. But for drivers like Wes Wiegand, Justin Ray, and Craig Schroeder, a lot of work to do to try and get over the hurdle, get around Cody Anderson, and get into those top 8 spots. Certainly going to be easier said than done here tonight at Darlington, but that is the challenge that lays before them tonight, and if they can't get it done tonight, they'll have one more chance next week at Texas. But you never want to have an opportunity go by the wayside, and that's what's going to happen here tonight. Speaking of Darlington, this track so uniquely shaped, so difficult to get around. You can take a look on your screen. Nothing about this track is consistent with each other. 25-degree bankings in one corner, 23-degree banking in the other. As you can see, turns 1 and 2 significantly wider than turns 3 and 4. Your car might work great on one end of the track and might be way too tight or loose on the other. It is a nightmare trying to get your car properly set up here. And even the way you race this track is so different compared to everything else. It is such a challenging track. That is why it has so many nicknames over the years. That is why drivers both respect and fear this place more than any other. Looking tonight as well. Beautiful sunny skies tonight at Darlington. You see the sun overhead giving us a nice crisp track temperature. I have no doubt about that. We can take a look here tonight at the track conditions and the weather. Guess we've got, oh, there it is. 75-degree temperatures in the air today. Beautiful day to be out and racing. Track temp 97 degrees. And you got to imagine it will only be staying that hot for the early going of this race as that sun starts to creep down lower and lower on the horizon. And when that sun goes down, track temps are going to cool off in a hurry, completely changing the balance of your race car. And you know, you might be handling it one way, the sun goes down a little bit, you come in for fresh tires, and all of a sudden the car is completely different. It's like you're on ice skates out there the first couple laps. Taking a look tonight at our race analysis to see what our drivers are going to have to go through. 100 laps of racing here from Darlington, one stage break at lap 30. The only scheduled caution of the day, it'll be that stage break at lap 30, an opportunity to get new tires, refuel, and give everyone a bit of a breather after the opening 30 laps here, if it should go green the whole way to that point. After that, nice crisp 70 laps to the end of this one. 45-mile-an-hour pit road speed. Pretty easy pit road to get onto, assuming you get off of the corner all right, but going side by side in these corners is so tricky that sometimes that becomes a challenge in and of itself, just getting down off the racetrack. 4 sets of tires are available here tonight for our drivers, not to mention the tires that already start on the car. And we will have an unlimited number of green-white checkered attempts should we need it, and everyone driving that fixed iRacing setup. We look at who's been good this year. We look at who's been good on these mile-and-a-halves or subsequently similarly sized tracks. My eyes immediately glance to a couple of these guys. You know, Drew Prohl, who won on a great strategy call last week at Kansas. He could be one to watch. In addition, guys like Daniel Cunningham, who won at Nashville. Or Andy Kurtz, who won at Gateway. Those tracks, not overly similar to Darlington outside of the length of the track, but they all posed unique challenges, and they all had gotten it done. Tony Iverson also picked up a win on these mile-and-a-halves, the win at Charlotte. So, a couple of drivers who have been winning on these mile-and-a-halves to keep in mind as someone to potentially keep an eye out for. Another name that I definitely think should be taken into consideration are 2 points leaders here, Alex Penn and Michael Kostick. Alex Penn, 3 different runner-up finishes on ovals this season. All 3 of his wins have come on road courses. He is looking desperately to try and get that first win on the oval. And then you got a guy like Michael Kostick, who has finished second in 3 of his last 5 attempts, going back to Watkins Glen, Pocono, and Chicago. 5th place last week at Kansas. Can he break through and find his early season form once again here in the playoffs? And with that, it is time to take a look at our starting grid. The pole sitter here tonight, the 8 of Michael Kostick, gets it done, a 29.700. The number 8 looking to capitalize here and pick up his 4th victory of the season. It's actually his first pole of the year, despite the fact he's got those 3 wins. So a good run there for Kostic, who get himself up on the front row alongside Andy Kurtz in the 5. Row 2, it's the 31 of Blake Hensley alongside the 30 of Alex Penn. Daniel Cunningham in the 08, rolling off in 5th place tonight. Bobby Hall Jr. to his outside. Justin Ray rolls off 7th, and Matt Grenier to his outside, rolling off 8th. Lucas Lyons in the 48 machine, rolling off 9th. Drew Prohl in the 80, last week's winner, rolls off 10th. In row 6, it's the 42 of Cody Anderson and the 93 of Tom Hall. Dustin Reinsettle rolls off 11th. Travis Bieber in the 114, rolling off 14th. And in 15th place tonight, it is the 67 of Michael Cole. A lot of drivers finding some older paint schemes or things to throw it back to here tonight for Darlington, as is tradition when you come down to Lady in Black. An opportunity to pay homage to either drivers that came before, paint schemes that you really enjoy, or just an opportunity to get a fresh look on the car. It's a good place for it here tonight. And you can see on board here with the pace car, just this kind of banking, but you can see also how narrow this groove is. So we're kind of on low speeds here. You can see how tight it is in that corner. Things really open up in the backstretch, and then we'll get into turns 3 and 4, and you'll just see how narrow this corner is. It's going to really pose a challenge if you're door-to-door with someone, because there's just not a whole lot of room to operate, especially at high speeds. You can get up to like 170, 180 here at Darlington. So trying to run side by side into these narrow corners, easier said than done. But the pace car will peel off the field, makes their way round out of turn 4. Green flag is up in the air. They're going to lay it down on the throttle, and we are playoff racing here from Darlington. And making their way out of the corner, Michael Kostic will lead this opening lap. Hensley, though, got a good job getting around the 5 of Kurtz. He'll jump up into P2. Penn and Cunningham rounding out your top 5 here. Kostic got a great launch as everyone all the way up to that outside wall. They're going to be flirting with hitting their Darlington stripe early and often here today. Some action going on just behind Prail there. You got Hall battling it out for 10th, I believe, with the 11 of Reinsettle. Hensley here has got a mirror full of Andy Kurtz as they make their way off of 4. Now Kurtz going to peel out to the inside. Will he try to make a move going into turn 1? The 5 going to think about sliding it in there, but had to bail out at the last second. It's really tough to try and make a pass on corner entrance here at Darlington. There's just so little room. You got to really kind of set it up through the corner and get the run down the straightaways. And that might be what the 5 of Andy Kurtz is laying in wait to do. Hensley maybe backing up the field a little bit here. 2nd through 7th, all under a blanket. Hensley back to Lyons. Then it opens up a little bit more to Grenier, Prail, and Reinsettle. Everyone's settling in pretty nicely here in the opening couple laps. They're going to try and fan out a little bit more. You may see a couple of takers trying to get to that low side on the exit of 4. Alex Penn really drove that thing down to the bottom, trying to get some sort of run down the front straightaway. Did not work that time around. He'll settle back into that 4th position, watching Kurtz and Hensley battle. Kurtz maybe with a run here off the corner. He's going to pop to the inside of the 31 here. Andy Kurtz looking for 2nd. The 5 down low, hooks those tires down to the flat part of the apron, trying to get around and under the 31. They'll stay door to door on corner exit. Here comes the 5 of Andy Kurtz. Leaning on each other a little bit in the 2, or in the 1. Battling for P2, that is. But Hensley able to hold on. That outside lane, the place you want to be through turns 1 and 2 right now, seems to be paying off in the early going for that 31 machine. Now here comes Cunningham to the inside of Penn. He's looking for 4th place here. The 08 of Daniel Cunningham is basically alongside the 30 through 3 and 4. Bailing out though in the turns 1 and 2. The early going of this race has proven that you can get alongside the car in front of you. However, if you're side by side going in the 1, you're going to have to give them room. There's simply not enough space this early on in the race for both people to make that work. As Hensley starts to separate a little bit from Kurtz. Penn right on the back bumper of Kurtz now, trying to see if he can take away that 3rd spot. Closing in on the back bumper of the 5 down the back straightaway. Almost getting up into the wall there was the 30 as the 5 tried to break the draft ever so slightly. And now running different lanes through 3 and 4. A great time to get a little bit of experimentation done here at Darlington. See how your car is handling in the early going. Can you run it on the bottom lane in 3 and 4? Can you find a different way to diamond off the corner in 1 and 2? These are the questions the drivers are asking themselves right now as they start to find their foothold here along this rather challenging race course. 10 laps down, it'll be 11 here at the stripe. Michael Kostick leads by 1.3 seconds over Blake Hensley. Then you got a battle for 3rd. Lunging in there was the 30 of Alex Penn. He'll take away that 3rd position. Great move by the 30 of Penn, getting around the 5. He's now up in the P3. Kurtz falls back into the clutches of Daniel Cunningham. Lucas Lyons on the scene as well. Then you got Bobby Hall, Drew Prail, Matt Grenier, Dustin Reinstedel, your top 10 as they run. Andy Kurtz has been the focal point of the action here through the early going. He's had battles with Hensley, he's had battles with Penn, now battling to stay in front of Daniel Cunningham as they make their way down the back straightaway. Kurtz holds that car length advantage. Lyons maybe looking to the inside of Cunningham here. The 08 in the spot you never want to be in, trying to play offense and defense at the same time. At a track that wasn't super challenging, it would already be a tall order. But doing it at a place like Darlington makes it that much more challenging when you know there's no margin for error here on these corners. Cunningham steps out. He might take a look to the inside of Kurtz here in the 3. And he will. Great lunge from the 08. He'll get up right in front of the 5. The 5 all the way to that outside wall. He still has Lucas Lyons to contend with, but the 08 will take that spot away. Andy Kurtz qualified in 2nd, but is falling back in a hurry here. He has fallen to the last spot in the top 5, and he might be in danger of falling out of it if Lucas Lyons has anything to say about it. Lyons thinking about making a dive to the inside here. The 48 will wheel just around the 5 with ease. That number 48 machine throwing it back to the old CarQuest throwback, the old Kellogg's and CarQuest throwback there. The Cofield machine for the 48. Looking pretty strong early as he breaks his way into the top 5 for the first time here tonight on lap 15. Field's starting to find their opportunity to spread out a little bit further on back. Up in this mix, though, it's a little bit more challenging. You see Kurtz starting to really fall back here. Bobby Hall closing the gap. Hall's done a great job to get away from Prail. And now Hall has the opportunity to try and jump into sixth. As somebody brushes the wall there, it's the 30th Penn. Penn brushed the wall up in third place. Cunningham to the inside. He's trying to take that spot away. Same with the 48 of Lyons. Cunningham moves up into P3. Lyons to the inside of Penn now. So Cunningham now runs third. Penn fourth. And fifth is Lucas Lyons. As you guys all got to look to see every single graphic that we have at our disposal here tonight. They all wanted to make themselves known at once. Lyons looking to the inside of Penn here in 3 and 4. He's got a nose to the corner. Can he keep the throttle in it? Doesn't seem to be so that time by. Kurtz and Hall will close in now. 4th through 7th they run. So Kostick leads by 1.8 seconds over Blake Hensley, who's got a 0.2 of a second gap over Cunningham. And that is where we pick up the rest of this battle here. Penn, Lyons, Kurtz, and Hall, 4th through 7th. As you can see just a little farther ahead, Cunningham and Hensley were battling it out for second. No changes up there yet. Meanwhile, back here, a lot of cars all trying to sort themselves out for position as they run. Lyons continues to try and hammer away at the inside of the 30. Continues to look to the inside, corner after corner. Now we'll have a runoff of turn 2. He looks to the inside of Alex Penn. Looks to try and close it off. He's not clear yet, but he will be able to complete the pass here off of 4. Lucas Lyons, slowly but surely, marching his way to the front of the field, now up to P4. Alex Penn brushed the wall a few laps back, and that's cost him now 2 positions in the grand scheme of things as he's fallen back from 3rd to 5th. Meanwhile, ahead of this, Cunningham looks to the inside of Hensley for second. Cunningham has his nose ahead and will take away second place. Daniel Cunningham around Blake Hensley. New runner in second place as Michael Cole going to bring that battered number 67 down pit road. Hensley, though, back to the inside of Cunningham. Really launches it into turn 1. What an aggressive move by Hensley. He'll take second place right back. Got down below corner entry, took that spot away, and now Cunningham trying to set up a run here in the turn 3. Back at it they go. Gloves are off between the 31 and the 08. No margin for error there off the corner. You see just behind them, Penn and Kurtz side by side. That's the battle for 5th. You can see on the top of your screen. But right now, Hensley and Cunningham having a proper scrap for second. Cunningham again looks to the inside of the 31. Going to try and clear this spot if he can. Hensley going to continue to hold it on that outside lane. He'll lose out to Cunningham in the short term, but can he use that momentum he got to make another pass in the turn 1 like last time? Not this time around. So Daniel Cunningham and the old Tony Stewart throwback will move up into P2, the highest he's run all day. And Lucas Lyons not too far from this battle as well. Got a good battle going just behind these guys. Alex Penn under fire right now from the 94 of Bobby Hall and the 80 of Drew Prail. Penn getting a little bit of separation there. Trying to stay ahead of the 94 on board here with the 80 of Prail. He's up 2 positions from where he started last week's winner. Off of an incredible gamble on fuel strategy, was able to make it work, brought it home to the end, locked himself into the round of 8. Now looking to store some more points here if he can. 25 laps now down in the opening stage. Lap 30, 5 laps from now, will be the stage break as contact with the 94 and the 30. Hall and Penn make contact in quarter entry. They will keep it off the wall, though, and keep it rolling. A big slide from the 94. The 80, though, I think clipped the wall, is not able to capitalize. These guys really fighting it out for 6th right now. Now Hall going to look to the outside off of turn 4. Nothing going. Penn closes the door on him. Great action here in the early goings from Darlington. Great battling throughout the top 10. This battle, the battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Penn leading Hall and Prail. Hall again to the inside here in 3 and 4. Washes up the track, makes contact with the 30. Alex Penn keeps that car stable, though. Oh, and nearly a bit of a collision with the 80 and the 94. Prail nearly ran out of room, but now he's going to look to the inside. Lunging in on Hall, takes that spot away. But will he be able to maintain the throttle off of 2? I think he will. The 94 looks like he may have burned up his stuff a little bit. Prail into the wall. Everyone trying to catch their breath here. 3 laps from the stage break. Alex Penn is seeing a whole lot of action going on behind him. First he made contact with the 94. Then the 94 made contact with him. Prail was into the outside wall. There's been a lot going on these past couple laps. Bobby Hall closing in on the back bumper of the 80, trying to see if he can get those extra stage points here in the closing couple laps of stage 1. Prail, though, going to look to the inside of Penn for 6th. Here comes the 80 on the inside, not giving the 30 any room. Slides up in front of him. Now Penn back to the inside, cutting off Hall. Can't tell if that was supposed to be a block on the 94 or a passing attempt on the 80. Either way, it worked as both. The back bumper of the 30 looks like it's been leaned in on a little bit here. That may have been from contact with the 94 a few laps ago. So Prail got on by. He's up to 6th. Meanwhile, behind them, Penn and Bobby Hall trying to get some separation from Matt Grenier and Dustin Reinsettle, who are closing in on the scene here. They will be out of time, though, as we hit lap 30. And the caution flies for this end of the stage. Michael Kostick goes pillar of the post here in the opening 30 laps. Will lead all of them. And will win the stage here at Darlington. The rest of your top 10 finishers, Daniel Cunningham, Lucas Lyons, Blake Hensley, Andy Kurtz, Drew Prail, Alex Penn, Bobby Hall, Matt Grenier, Dustin Reinsettle, your top 10, with Ray Anderson, Bieber, Tom Hall, and Michael Cole. The remaining bit of the field, Michael Cole, the only car not scored on the lead lap, currently 11 laps down. Dominant stuff there from Michael Kostick, but we didn't get to see a whole lot of him in that opening stage. There was so much battling happening throughout the field. But now, pit stops from Darlington. Here comes the 8 of Kostick, going to lead the field down pit road. Certainly going to be a 4 tires and fuel situation for all these drivers, I'd have to imagine. Making their way down pit road. Cars beginning to peel off. You see Lyons, now Cunningham. And here comes everybody else into their box. Looks like the 31 may have overshot his slightly. And cars starting to peel away here in this race off of pit road. Kostick will win the race over Cunningham and Lyons. Your top 3 off of pit road. After the 48, looks like the 5 of Kurtz, the 80 of Prail, and then the 30 of Penn. The next car is off of pit road, so looks like the 31 really lost out there. May have also been getting some sort of damage repaired. Looks like it was a really long stop for the 31 of Hensley. Andy Kurtz back up to 4th, the highest he's been running in quite some time. He qualified 2nd and then fell down the order in the opening going. Started working his way back in the later stages of the opening 30 laps, and now we'll have to try and rally back from 4th here to the outside of the 48 whenever this restart happens. But as for our leader, Michael Kostick, he had 3 wins in the opening 7 races of the season, picking up victories at Michigan, Iowa, and Bristol. Since then, though, has yet to find victory lane since the middle of the regular season. He's come 2nd place on 3 separate occasions, though. Watkins Glen in the penultimate race of the regular season, and then multiple times in the round of 16 with a 2nd place finish at Pocono and a 2nd place finish at the Chicago Street Course. He's been knocking on the door a lot lately, just has not been able to seal the deal. A lot of these races have come down to either road courses where he loses out to the 30 of Alex Penn, or some fuel strategy that goes against him and in favor of the guy who actually ends up winning it. As for the 08 of Cunningham, who will be lining up to his outside here, he's had a pretty decent run of form in these playoffs. Hasn't finished worse than 8th. However, he hasn't finished any better than 5th. 2 top 5s with 5th places at Pocono and Chicago, and then a 7th place last week at Kansas and an 8th place at Talladega back in the middle of the round of 16. So a 2nd place finish would go a long way tonight to get him those extra points he needs to qualify for the round of 8. But a win would take all the stresses away and just immediately punch his ticket. Lights are out on the pace car, which means after they make their way through 3 and 4, we will be racing once again from Darlington. Hope everybody at home is having a good one out here tonight, enjoying this action. It's the pace car. Peels away. Cars make their way out of turn 4 into the restart zone. And once again, we are racing here from Darlington. Again, Kostick gets the jump on the field, and Lucas Lyon's going to try and take away 2nd through 1 and 2. And he'll do so with authority. Moving up into P2 is the 48. Gets around the 08 of Cunningham. Prail settles in the 4th, just ahead of Andy Kurtz. That outside lane, just not where you want to be on these restarts at Darlington right now. Will Michael Kostick be able to build up that same lead that he did in the opening stage, or will the 48 of Lyons be able to track him down? Looking at this battle a little farther back, of the big slide for the 80 of Prail. Nearly fishtailed it coming out of the corner, as someone does behind him. Someone got way loose off of turn 2. I think it was the 93 of Tom Hall. He is lucky that that car didn't end up in the inside wall, but he lost a ton of momentum, and he's lost the field here, more or less. But a big slide and a big save for the 93 to keep that car undamaged and keep himself at least in contention here, because a wreck at that speed certainly would have done some critical damage. Looking in this battle for 4th, Kurtz looking to the inside of Prail. The 5 of Andy Kurtz side by side with the 80. Going to wheel his way off of turn 4. Will he be able to complete the pass? Not this time by, but he remains hanging to the inside of the 80. Going to try and lunge it in here to turns 1 and 2. Will he try to make the pass? No, he'll settle back in behind the 80. It's just so tough, especially before the midway point of this race, the Justify trying to make a pass to the inside in turns 1 and 2. There's just no room. There's so much potential for something to go wrong for both drivers. The 5 wisely takes a step back and said, all right, we're going to regroup, try and set this up in a separate straightaway coming off the corner as opposed to going into it. So here's the replay of what happened to the 93. You see just gets really loose off the corner, but was able to collect it before he caught the inside wall. And as he got going again, was there another incident? No, it looked like he just had the big slide there on the backstretch. That battle for 4th on back still raging. Prail's got Kurtz on his back bumper. Gonna see if we can jump up just behind them. The 30 of Alex Penn's got a mirror full of Bobby Hall for 6th right now. You can see Hall again to the inside. These two cars, along with Prail, battling so hard right before the stage break. And at least for the 94 and the 30, they've picked up right where they left off, with Alex Penn ahead of Bobby Hall Jr. and the 94 giving the 30 absolutely no room for comfort. Also keeping an eye on our leader here, Michael Kostick. He is going to have some action up front in a second here. Lucas Lyons, the gap only 2/10 right now for the lead. Closest anyone's been all day here today. Michael Kostick's led every single lap. Lucas Lyons, though, has had a great drive, up 7 positions from 9th to 2nd, looking to get one more and take away this lead. You can see on board here with the 48 just how close he is. He could reach out and grab the back bumper of the 8 if he really was trying. Roaring down this front straightaway. Into turn 1 now. Gonna run about a half lane lower than the 8. Gonna see if he can get some run off of corner exit. Clipped the wall a little bit actually there with the 48. That's gonna hurt his momentum a hair. And we'll roll back into 3 and 4. And you can also see on track, starting to get a little darker out here. Sun's starting to get a little bit lower. The clouds starting to roll in. And that's gonna start dropping this track temp. Daniel Cunningham staying in this mix as well. These 3 cars have pulled away from the rest of the field behind them. Kurtz has gotten around Prail, and then it's a big mess from 6th on back to 9th. You see here, Reinstedel battling it out with Justin Ray. Penn trying to hold off Bobby Hall. I mean, there is just battling happening all over the place here. You see the 11 of Reinstedel move up in the P8. Justin Ray trying to get back at him here from 9th. Darlington, one of those tracks where the closer you can run up to the wall, the faster you're going to be, especially in turns 1 and 2. So those cars that are comfortable running all the way up to the outside, those are the ones who will be running the fastest here today. You see on board here with the 11, just trying to peek his nose to the inside of the 94. Now off the back bumper of the 94, seeing what's unfolding behind him. Reinstedel and Justin Ray, both right there. Beautiful overhead shot here, so seeing the action unfold. That's 5th through 10th, all nose to tail. Drew Prail leading this pack of cars. Currently scored about 3 seconds behind the leader, Michael Kostick. As you see Hall now looking to the inside of Penn. The battle for 6th ongoing right now. They've also found their way to the back bumper of the 80. These 3 cars continuing their battle from before the stage break. Hall not going away on the inside, going to try and launch it in there. nowhere to go, though. He'll have to get out of the throttle. Lets the 30 get back into P6 and also checks up Reinstedel and company behind him. Hensley going to try and capitalize by looking to the inside here of Ray. Justin Ray on the outside in the 38. Blake Hensley on the inside in the 31. Oh, bit of contact. He's in the wall. Contact between the 31 of Hensley and the 38 of Ray. Hensley along for the ride down to the inside wall. But I do not know if that's going to bring out a caution due to the way the racing line is structured here at Darlington. iRacing may not think he was in the racing line. A terrible sequence of events there for the 31. Not only is contact with the 38 going to send him around, but with the way the iRacing algorithm determines whether or not something was a caution, they didn't end up flagging it. And we've hit the midway point of this race, and the day for the 31 just went from bad to worse. Taking a look here at the replay about what happened with Justin Ray and Blake Hensley. They were side by side coming off the corner. And I honestly, from that angle, I think they netcoded into each other. We'll have to take another look at that one, but certainly looked like there was a bit of a gap between those two cars when the 31 got tagged. If we could get that view with the 38, that might be able to tell. On board here with the 38 of Ray. We're going to see what happens here. Yeah, that looks like some netcode to me. Really bad timing for it. But it looked like there was still a bit of a gap between those two cars. And ultimately, while it does check up the 38, it's going to be an absolutely brutal turn of events for the 31, who now finds himself 21 seconds off the lead with a very damaged race car. Honestly, all things considered, it's kind of a miracle that he was able to keep that car on the lead lap. But at this point, it's going to be a matter of just damage control here for the 31 of Hensley. Started up in P3, was battling up in the top podium spots all of the opening stage. Had some issues on pit road where he lost some time and then get marred back in traffic and ultimately into the collision here with the 38. You can see heavy, heavy damage on that right front tire. Certainly not going to help the handling at all here at a track that can really, really grind up tires. Looking a little further on back, this is Cody Anderson in the 42. He's ahead of the 15 of Grenier here. Holding on to this top 10 spot. Trying to work his way up to the wounded number 38 of Justin Ray. Anderson coming off of back-to-back top 10s here. Trying to make it 3 in a row this week if he can keep holding on the 10th or better. So 54 laps complete, working on the lap 55 now. Your leader, the 8 of Michael Kostick, who's up 1.5 seconds over Daniel Cunningham. Lucas Lyons currently scored in third, 2 seconds back. Andy Kurtz and Alex Penn, your top 5. Drew Prail, Bobby Hall Jr., Dustin Reinstedel, Justin Ray, Cody Anderson, your top 10 as they run. Only the one caution so far, although I feel like it's worth arguing that there should have been a second one just a couple laps ago. But iRacing deemed not the case since there was no car in the racing line. One of the few flaws here specifically with the iRacing caution model is, you know, he was technically out of the racing line, but that definitely should have been a caution as there was a car spinning across the front stretch and ended up facing the wrong way. Jumping up front here, this is the battle for 6th. Drew Prail's got a couple of car lengths over Bobby Hall and Dustin Reinstedel. The 30th Penn had checked out from this battle, but has left the 80 and the 94 to continue battling with each other. The 11 lurking just behind him as the Hall machine going to dive it into the inside. Contact into the outside wall. He tried launching it in on the inside. Didn't work out for either driver. Completely washed up the track. Heavy damage for the 94. The 11 diving way to the inside to avoid him. Hall trying to get all the way down to the inside of the track here. Prail and Reinstedt going to keep on going. Heavy, heavy damage for the 94 machine, who's bringing it around on the apron. I think he might be trying to get this thing down pit road this time by. We had just jumped to that battle to see what was going to happen. Hall dove to the inside, washed up the track, and him and the 80 of Prail ended up in the outside wall. The 11 of Reinstedt was going to try and capitalize, but then got lucky that he didn't have to hit the 94 as he came really shallow out of 4. Issues getting on the pit road here for the 94. This issue just compounding right now for Hall. And he finally gets this thing brought down pit road. He will now go a lap down, though. So a couple of incidents on track that have not brought out a yellow flag, but have definitely put some drivers more or less out of contention of the race win here today. As you see jumping back up here, that's Travis Bieber in the 114, Matt Grenier in the... Reinstedt looking to the inside here of Prail. That's the battle for 6th. The 80 having some issues right now in 3 and 4. He's got himself a pretty nasty Darlington stripe, as Reinstedt will roll on by to take away P6. Cody Anderson now smelling blood in the water. Going to try and get around Prail as well. It is really hard to undo a habit after, what's it been now, about 15 weeks, give or take, Producer Christian? 17 weeks, even worse. trying to redo that name in my brain after I was corrected last week. So on board here with the 11 of Dustin Reinstedt, currently scored in that 6th position. He's been slowly but surely working his way up through the field. Was not in the top 10 to start this race, and has just incrementally worked his way to where he's at now, which is just outside the top 5. As you look a little further on back, the 80 of Prail and the 42 of Anderson going to battle it out for 7th here. Anderson to his inside, going into the corner. Really deep entry. Tried to really get off the throttle to not completely wash up the track in front of traffic. Justin Ray will go on by, and Travis Bieber now going to look to the inside here on the backstretch. Takes away that position with ease. And the 42 spinning. He is trying to lock it down, but he's going to lose the back end of it. And the 42 goes around on the apron. I'm thinking he was trying to get it slowed down for pit road, and the thing just spun on him. So Anderson going to bring it down pit road here. This is the window where you can make your stop and make it to the end. Perhaps Cody Anderson, even though with a bit of a spin, might be trying to get a green flag pit cycle started here. Looks like Matt Grenier had also come down pit road. Or maybe not. Yeah, Matt Grenier scored 15th on the time, or the number 15 on the timing table. Number 14 though on track, so little off kilter, but you know, one number off is pretty still pretty close. Well, Producer Christian's getting 12 and 12, which is I mean positionally yes, he's running P12. I mean like car number, he is P14 on visually, but P15 on the timing table. Or sorry, car number 15. I so instinctively want to say. Once again, math is the thing that is really the trip up here in the Vspeed booth, as it has in so many races prior. Looking here, this is the battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Drew Prail ahead by a car length over Justin Ray, who has a mirror full of Travis Bieber right now. And those three cars all going to converge as they make their way into turn one. They all sort out who's going where, though. And Bieber going to try and set up a good run off the corner. The 80 into the outside wall for a second. Here comes Justin Ray to the inside to take away the 7th spot. Travis Bieber trying to follow him in. The 38 of Ray takes away the spot. Bieber now to the inside of Prail. And he'll get the job done. Travis Bieber now up in the 8th. The 80 of Drew Prail restarted in the top 5. Is now fallen back to 9th. The good news for the 80 at least, it's a 17-second gap back to the next car on track as Tom Hall will bring it down pit road. The green flag pit cycle slowly but surely ongoing here from Darlington Raceway as we approach lap 70. The opening stage of this race was 30 laps. You saw the 93 actually overshoot his box. It's a tough break for a car that's already been having some struggles here today. 94 of Bobby Hall. Try to get back on track here. He has scored 10 laps down, though. He had pretty heavy damage from when he hit the wall. Penn and Reinstedel bringing it down pit road now. Same with the 5 of Andy Kurtz, I believe. Also, our leaders come down pit road. Michael Kostick has brought it down pit road here. So the green flag pit cycle very much ongoing. Cunningham comes down pit road. Lyons is going to stay out for another lap. Kostick, right side's down, left side's up. The first time today he has not led a lap, and it's for the green flag pit cycle. $70 laps complete, 30 to go. Lucas Lyons still on track, along with Travis Bieber, Drew Prail. Now Cunningham going to bring it down pit road, I believe. And he's down in the way. Will he cycle out in front of the 8? You see Kostick rolling through the corner there. And Kostick will go on by. You see him battling there with Travis Bieber. Cunningham getting back on track. So he will not win that battle in the pit cycle, but didn't lose too much time. As you see Grenier hanging out on that outside lane. Cunningham going to roll to the inside here to try and close down on the 8. 4 cars still on the lead lap, technically due to this pit cycle. Lucas Lyons, Travis Bieber, who you see just ahead of the 08 there, Cunningham. The other 2 cars still in the lead lap, the 80 of Drew Prail and the 31 of Blake Hensley. You see Cunningham roar on past the 114. Now he's going to bring down pit road. Travis Bieber going to make his way down pit road here. Prail also having come down pit road. Lucas Lyons just going to try and extend this for all it's worth. That number 48 machine, going to run it until he can't run it no more. Going to hope for a caution or something to try and trap the field a lap down. Now the 48 comes down pit road. I think that will actually cycle the 31 of Blake Hensley to the lead, despite all the challenges that Hensley has had tonight. He will inherit the lead temporarily as you see the 48 finally make his stop here on lap 75. So despite the damage to Hensley, he will get credited with a lap led here tonight. Actually, I don't think he will yet. Lucas Lyons was ahead of him at the stripe there, so he'll have to lead this one. But despite the damages, despite the issues, still trying to run on track here, still trying to pick up any sort of extra points that he can in the grand hunt for these end-of-season points. Clips the wall there a little bit in 3 and 4. You can see Kostick bearing down on him behind him. But Hensley will get credited for leading that lap as we make our way on to lap 76. So the 31 becomes the third or fourth different leader here tonight, along with Kostick, Lyons, and I think Cunningham may have had one in that pit cycle as well. The 31 going to bring it down pit road here. You saw that Kostick had reached his back bumper, and that's when he decided to hit the ejector seat and bring it down pit road. And now that green flag pit cycle, I do believe, is complete. And with 24 laps to go, Michael Kostick holds a 1.5 second lead over Daniel Cunningham, who's ahead of Alex Penn in third. Actually, we should just do a rundown of the field, I guess, now that we've done the pit cycle. So up front, we've got the 8 machine of Michael Kostick. He has led just about every lap there has been to lead here tonight. Very much in control of this race. Back in second, it is the 08 of Daniel Cunningham. He is running in the second place here tonight. Really strong run. Restarted second at the stage break and has been able to hold on to that track position for the most part here. A really strong run for him. Jumping back to third, it's the 30 of Alex Penn. You know, we talked coming into the show about how he has 3 different runner-up finishes on ovals this year, but is still looking for that first oval win. You know, he's not out of it yet, but as the laps start to tick away, his opportunity to get that first oval win of the season might be slipping through his fingers. Still very much could hold on for another oval podium, though. Be, I believe, his 4th one of them, not to mention the 3 wins he's had on the road courses this year. So still a very strong points day incoming for the 30. Back and forth, it's the 5 of Andy Kurtz. He's had a bit of an up and down day. Qualified second, fell way back in the opening stage, but was able to restart 4th at the stage break with a good pit stop, and that's more or less where he stayed, even with the green flag pit cycle. Then back in 5th, this is where things start getting really crazy as we see a great battle here. Ryan Stedel and Grenier battling it out for 5th. Ryan Stedel going to fly on by, so I guess in 5th place as they run, Dustin Reinstedel in the 11. He's having a really solid run here today. Qualified outside the top 10, now has worked his way into the top 5 for the first time here tonight. Back in 6th, it is Matt Grenier. Very much the same story as the 11. Has had to work his way into this position. Pitted pretty early, so while he got the track position, he is going to be one of the slower cars on track here as we come down to the end of this race, trying to hold on to P6 as they run. Back in 7th, it is the 48 of Lucas Lyons. He's led a couple laps here tonight, but ultimately he might have to try and rally his way back here late. He tried extending on those older set of tires as long as he could. So he looks to take away 6th place here from Grenier. Will do so with relative ease. He's worked his way up into 6th. He might be able to catch Ryan Stedel for 5th as well, but 5th might be where he caps out if this stays green. He made his gamble on the pit strategy. Didn't work out, but he still might be able to net a top 5 when it's all said and done. Back in 8th place there, it's the 38 of Justin Ray. We saw his incident earlier on with the 31 of Blake Hensley, who, lo and behold, is the car running about 3 car lengths behind him. These 2 cars, granted, it was a net code situation, I believe, that caused the issue with these 2 coming off of turn 4 about 30 laps ago. Wonder if that's how the drivers see it in real time, since they didn't have the luxury of seeing the replay. Gonna hang here for a second, see what happens here with the 31 and the 38. Hensley on those fresher tires, gonna see if he can roll to the inside of Ray. Justin Ray up top. Hensley takes away the track position on the bottom, but he has scored a lap down. So that will not be for position. So Justin Ray still in 8th, but looks like everything all good and fine between those 2 drivers. And then back in 9th, it is the 80 of Drew Crail. Another up and down day. We saw him running as high as 3rd or 4th, but after a couple of Darlington strikes have marred him back into the field a little bit, he currently finds himself running 9th. just ahead of the 114 of Travis Bieber, who rounds out our top 10. You can see the gap there, about 3 car lengths between Prail and Bieber. The 114 up a couple spots from where he started, but just has not had the pace he's needed today to really make a strong run for the win. And that is the top 10 as they run. The only other car on the lead lap as they score right now is the 42 of Cody Anderson. Tom Hall and Blake Hensley both scored 1 lap down, with Bobby Hall Jr. and Michael Cole very much out of contention here, 18 and 36 laps down respectively. So you see Hensley trying to work his way back onto the lead lap here, or at least get up to the 93. In case there's a late caution, he could try and get the free pass. Still has some work to do there. You can see the gap, the 93 to the 31, that camera jump. About half a straightaway. Trying to see if we can see it from the blimp. You could see him just barely there coming off the corner. That's the gap Hensley would need to close in order to try and get into a free pass position. But as we've seen so far tonight with 2 separate incidents that have not led to a caution, getting the free pass here might not happen. But you still got to try and keep yourself in the hunt any way you can. As you see Justin Ray go around Matt Grenier on the top of your screen there, it was in the background. Ray will make that pass for 7th. Looking up front, though, that gap Michael Kostic has is it's come down a little bit. It was 1.6 seconds. It's got as low as 1.3. Now it's reopened up to about 1.45. Michael Kostic and Daniel Cunningham have absolutely no one else on track near him right now. It's all about running consistent, smooth laps here for the closing 13, now make it 12 laps of this race. Just a lot of time trial laps at this point. Who's it going to be? Can Michael Kostic get his first victory since Bristol back in the 7th race of the season? Keep in mind, this is round, I believe, 18 of the year, 17 of the year. So it's certainly been a couple months here for the 8. Or could it be Daniel Cunningham looking for his 2nd victory of the season and his first one since Nashville, which was the race after Bristol when Michael Kostic won it. So both of these guys, a bit of a drought since their last victory, and a win could punch their ticket to the round of 8 as we make our way next time by. It'll be 10 laps to go here from Darlington. Looking a little farther on back, this podium setup still to be determined. Alex Penn has a mirror full of Andy Kurtz right now. As they make their way into turn 1 with 10 laps to go. The 30 of Alex Penn has been through a couple wars out there tonight. But he is still holding on to the bottom step of the podium. Andy Kurtz trying to do whatever he can to make some forward progress here. He fell back in the early going, did a really good job not losing any more track position after the stage break. And now he has to go out there and try and take away a couple positions of his own. Thought about making a move there off of 4, elected against it. Settles back in here behind the 30. The 30 really gets slowed up in the corner. Contact between the two. The 5 and the 30. The 30 once again to the outside wall. Penn slow through 1 and 2. Clipped it on corner exit. Now here comes Kurtz to the inside. They're bouncing off each other in 3 and 4. Both drivers getting their elbows out here, battling in the closing laps at Darlington. Andy Kurtz has taken away the spot, but it's not done yet. Penn back to the inside here. He'll slide up the track, but keep it off the 5. He's trying to keep that nose down and away. Unable to keep the throttle down, though. And Andy Kurtz going to wheel it away. The 5 going to try and take this final podium spot. Taking a look here, it is going to be 7 laps to go from Darlington. Michael Kostic leads by 1.2 seconds over Daniel Cunningham. The gap has come down about 0.2. Just behind them, Andy Kurtz was just in a feverish battle there with the 30 of Penn. He's taken away 3rd place. Penn back to fourth. Lucas Lyons, a distant fifth, 2 seconds back. Great running here in this top 5. Jumping back up, if we can, to our leader, Michael Kostick. You can see this gap back to Daniel Cunningham. No lap cars in front of him right now. The gap to Cunningham has come down a little bit. The 08 reeling him in ever so slowly. But is he going to run out of time? I'm inclined to think he will if this pace maintains. But with Darlington, this track is so difficult. Anything could happen at a moment's notice. As we hit the 5 to go marker here from Darlington Raceway, Kostick holding on to just barely above a second lead over Cunningham right now. It's been a long time coming for the 8 of Michael Kostick. Been 3 runner-up finishes since his last victory at Bristol earlier this season. Gonna try and finally erase that one. Cunningham gonna try and everything in his power to reel in the 8 of Kostick here, but he has simply been the class of the field so far tonight. I mean, he has led, I believe, over 90 laps of this 100-lap race. He has simply been too tough to handle. You know, this is the track too tough to tame, and he has not only dealt with this track with ease, but he has dealt with the field with relative ease as well. Had a couple of battles there with Lucas Lyons and the pit cycle here with Cunningham, but ultimately it's not going to be enough, I don't believe. As Lucas Lyons closing in on Alex Penn for 4th. Might have a little bit more action here before this one's all said and done with 3 laps to go. The 48 of Lucas Lyons on the freshest tires in the field, closing in on the back bumper of the 30. Lyons came back from the pit cycle, scored in the 9th or 10th position. He's gotten around a few cars. Going to look to the inside of the 30 here. Has found some room on the inside. Found that inside groove. Gets under the 30. Side by side with 2 laps to go. Here comes the 48 Alliance to the inside and 1. Will they have enough room to navigate it? Almost a bit of contact through the corner. They'll remain door to door throughout it. More contact between the 2. The 48 has to catch it off the corner exit. He's got the fresher tires, but the 30 of Penn refusing to give away 4th place that easily. The 48 pushes the 30 into the corner. They're leaning on each other once again. Final lap. White flag in the air. Lyons has a nose ahead of Penn. Can he clear him here in 1 and 2? Gonna slide it in there, running out of room for the second is the 30. He's gonna end up in the outside wall. Lyons will take away 4th place. And back up at the front of the field, Michael Kostick will round it through turn 4 and pick up his 4th victory of the season, winning here tonight at Darlington Raceway. So Michael Kostick wins it over Daniel Cunningham and Andy Kurtz here tonight. Kostick leads 93 of the 100 scheduled laps here. Incredible performance. Dominating effort from the 8. And a well-deserved victory to lock himself into the round of 8. And will once again stand atop the leaderboard of most wins in the OiL Xfinity Series this season. His 4th of the year. He's going to burn it down here to celebrate. Did not put a foot wrong all evening long. Impressive execution from the driver of the 8 machine. And with that, we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, the final results from tonight's race at Darlington and interviews with our podium finishers that you won't want to miss. So don't go anywhere.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The round gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Welcome back, folks. Just wrapping up here from Darlington Raceway, the OiL Xfinity Series, putting on the show here tonight. And no one did it better than this man here tonight,
Right.
the winner of your race from Darlington Raceway. It is the 8 of Michael Kostick. Michael, congrats on the win. First time back in victory lane since the regular season. Talk to us about your night. Seemed like you had this one in control from the moment the green flag dropped.
Yeah, it's good to get. It felt like kind of a drought there since I got my last one, but yeah, it's I think clean air and not really having to deal with a lot of traffic earlier in the run kind of helped me, especially in the first stage. But yeah, I mean, it was loose through 1 and 2, and it would get tight in 3 and 4. Wasn't fun to drive in 3 and 4, but I had a blast in 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It's the third race in Darlington in like 2 or 3 weeks time, so I'm kind of over the place, but it's a good way to end it.
Well, no better way to end it than a dominating performance like you put up here tonight. Gotta ask you, it's too much to your point. It has been a little bit of a drought since your last win back at Bristol in the regular season. But during that time, you had multiple runner-up finishes. Was that starting to bug you at all, knowing you were getting that close, or was this a matter of knowing that your time was gonna come again?
A couple of them bugged me because I know I felt I was fast enough to win a couple of them. A couple of them, I think I lucked into second, but yeah, I mean it always sucks kind of to come in second when you have a chance to win it. But I mean, it's not an easy field to get a win in, so any win definitely feels good. There's a lot of fast guys out here, so every one is nice.
Yeah, I mean, you've been really in good form lately. You came into the playoffs with the most points, most wins to that point. And now you followed it up with, I believe, an average finish of like 2.5. I mean, you've just been crushing it here in the playoffs. Has it been something about the schedule that you've liked, or have you just been feeling really good about your racecraft the past couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, some of the tracks I've liked, some of them are kind of take it or leave it, but I just kind of go in and kind of more of the mindset of have fun and not worry too much about the results. And I think that's helped a lot, just help me relax and not stress so much about how the race is going to play out. Whatever happens, happens. So it's made it a little bit more relaxing, and it's probably played a little bit of into the hand.
No, that's certainly fair. Well, congratulations on your win here tonight. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out while we got you here?
Yeah, thank you guys at Vspeed for doing the broadcast. It's always fun to go back and watch the race. Dave, Alex, and everybody else who puts work in for the league. It's been fun running all season, and of course my teammates at Bandits and C2.
Alrighty. Well, congratulations on your victory here tonight from Darlington, your 4th win of the season, punching your ticket to the next round here of the OiL Xfinity playoffs. Congratulations, and we hope to see you again in the booth real soon.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
And that was your race winner, Michael Kostick, picked up the victory here tonight, leading 93 laps in the process. Just dominating effort there from the 8. The car that finished runner-up to him by just over a second. It is the 08 of Daniel Cunningham. Brings it home 2nd place tonight after starting in 5th. A little bit of a run toward the front. Almost had a chance at it late. Daniel, congrats on the podium. Talk to us about your night a little bit.
Yeah, appreciate it. Definitely best of the rest. Caustic was the class of the field, as evidenced by the broadcast. Went out there and pretty well took us behind the woodshed tonight. He was telling me after the race that he thought I was back there saving tire, and he was like, "You're probably going to come up here and pass me with about 3 to go and take this win." But I I was driving the wheels off of that thing. I had him thrown up on the dash the last 10 laps, and I couldn't catch him. We'd either maintain or I'd gain a half a tenth, and he'd gain it back. So, but yeah, solid run. Happy to finish second. Have a good points night.
Yeah, certainly was a solid points night for you. And looked like you had some speed there, but if you were saying you were going all out, it is certainly tough when after the pit cycle you were about a second and a half back. You did close in about half a second, just not enough time, I guess, out there tonight. But got to ask you, you got 7th place last week at Kansas, 2nd place here tonight. Not officially locked into the next round, but I would say it's a pretty fair bet to say that you'd be able to do so next week with a solid run of Texas. How are you feeling going into next week, knowing that you've probably got a pretty healthy point advantage over the cut line?
Yeah, I know Alex Penn puts up the points needed to lock in and all of that stuff. So I'll take a look at that and see exactly what I need to do and have that in mind. To be honest, I don't even remember the last time that I've run Texas in the Xfinity car, because most of the other series that I race in run Legacy Texas as opposed to New Texas, because it's probably the worst oval that NASCAR has ever gone to. Um, but yeah, I've ran it in trucks recently, but I know it's going to be night and day different from that. So yeah, hopefully don't need to do a whole lot and can just kind of relax and hopefully maybe even lock it up with some stage points or something.
Yeah, that would certainly take a lot of pressure off you in the closing stages, but either way, I think you'll probably be in pretty good shape. And got to ask you, it's been a pretty solid run for you so far, but obviously, you're only sitting on the 1 win. Are there any of these tracks coming up that you feel pretty good about your odds at getting back into victory lane? Coming up, after Texas, we've got like Homestead, the Roval, I think then Martinsville would be the next round. Anything jumping out you like, oh, that could be circled on the calendar as a window of opportunity?
Not really, to be honest. I kind of felt like Kansas and Darlington were probably my 2 best chances to get a win for the rest of the season. Homestead is always hit or miss for me. Sometimes I run really well there, and other times I don't know. I'm got 2 brain cells fighting over 3rd place when I'm racing there. Martinsville, I usually run well at, and then I do something stupid and take myself out. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, you never know what'll happen. I can go ahead and cross the Roval off the list because I know I ain't got anything for that place. But yeah, we'll see what happens and see if we can put some good runs together and get through to the Final Four maybe.
Alrighty. Well, definitely going to be curious to see how that unfolds over the next couple weeks. And we certainly wish you the best of luck in doing so. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out while you're up here?
Yeah, appreciate y'all doing the broadcast and all the admins that put all the work into the series. Appreciate all my teammates over at Bandits Motorsports, Ghost Energy, SM Race Products. If you're in the market for some button boxes or just sim racing accessories, check them out. Use code Bandits1 for a discount at checkout. And yeah, I guess that's all I got right now.
Alrighty. Well, hey, congrats on the podium finish. Thanks for joining us up here, and we'll hope to talk to you again real soon.
I appreciate it.
And that was Daniel Cunningham, our second place finisher here tonight, bringing us to the last member of our podium trio here this evening. Was the 5 of Andy Kurtz, brought it home P3. A bit of an up and down day. Andy, congrats on the podium run. Talk us through your day. It seemed like you got to experience all parts of the field at one point or another.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just typical Darlington. I was really trying to get a feel for the car. First stage, first half of the race. The Xfinity car is a little bit different here than like the trucks or ARCA cars, so just trying to get a feel for it and figure out where I want to run. I think 3 and 4 was actually pretty good on the bottom, really throughout the whole run. So made it a little bit easier to stay out of trouble, not up by the wall. So yeah, that just trying to run a clean race. Really tough to pass people. So cool to see that green flag pit stop there in the final stage. So saw some strategy, sort of play out. Guys on different fire strategy. So yeah, happy with third. I don't know if I was the third quickest car or not. I think Lucas was coming. Tried a little bit different strategy, but yeah, I'll certainly take it.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like there was a couple of quick cars out there, but that number 5 machine had some pretty good pace throughout the day, especially once it got rolling. Did want to ask you about that opening stage. Wasn't sure if it was a method of trying to save tire or if there was just some issues getting worked out in the early going. It seemed like you were having some trouble in the opening 30 laps that once we hit the stage break, you pretty quickly rectified. But in the early going, it seemed like it was a bit of a handful.
Yeah, that was really just me being trying to be patient. We were in a line of cars, I think like 5 or 6 of us, just kind of nose to tail. So guys were getting runs, and I knew if I tried keeping up, I was probably just gonna burn my stuff up because I really didn't know how to drive the car here. So just letting people by, figure it out. Knew that we have a caution at lap 30, whatever it was. So yeah, really no harm in just being patient, knowing that we're gonna get to reset the field there, and then probably have green flag pit stops where you could really change your strategy if you need to maybe get around guys. So yeah, just really just trying to learn and be patient and not ruin my race or anyone else's that on on lap 2.
And no doubt about that. And it ultimately ended up working out for you. You seemed like you got a handle on it and were able to keep it rolling pretty good. Makes it back-to-back top 5s for you here in the round of 12. Not officially, to my understanding, locked into the next round, but I'd imagine points-wise, you're probably in pretty good shape to do so going into Texas next week. Does that take a load off your mind, knowing that you really don't have to go out there and dominate next week, knowing that you've got a lot of points sitting in the bank going into the last race of the round?
Yeah, I think so. It always helps for sure. I don't know. Sometimes though, when you're in a corner, backed into a corner, it makes you you could really surprise yourself and have a really good run. So I don't mind that either. But it's good to have a lot of points stacked up here. But yeah, this series, Xfinity has been awesome all season, and pretty much most races have been going green, caution free. So I'm not too worried about hopefully not getting wrecked out or anything like that, getting caught up in something. So hope I don't jinx myself. But yeah, as long as that doesn't happen, should be in good shape. But I do like Texas, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, hopefully you don't put yourself in any superstitious circumstances there. But we certainly will be wishing you the best of luck going into Texas next week. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out before we let you go on your way?
Oh man, yeah, want to thank thank you as always, Vspeed for putting on awesome broadcasts for us all season long. Want to thank the teammates at Bandits and C2. Just I've been having a lot of fun with them every week. Just really helpful too. Just figuring things out in this car and some of the different tracks we're at. So yeah, I want to thank them. I thank everyone who helps put this league on, Alex and Dave. And yeah, looking forward to next week.
Alrighty. Well, we are also looking forward to next week here at Vspeed. We're excited to see what you and everybody will be putting together for the last race of the round of 12. Thanks so much for joining us up here, Andy, and we'll hopefully talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, man.
And that was Andy Kurtz, third place finisher here tonight from Darlington. Last spot on the podium, makes it back-to-back top fives for him. And without a further ado, I do believe that brings us to our driver of the day pick there, Christian. Who are we thinking? Alrighty, well, bit of a split decision, so we're gonna give a quick shout out to them both. I think it's hard to say anyone other than the 8 of Michael Kostick. I mean, the dude led 93 laps here today, just class the field from start to finish. Really incredible stuff there from him, but also worth mentioning, a couple shout outs. The 48 of Lucas Lyons had a great drive through the field a couple of times, and the 08 of Daniel Cunningham had a pretty good drive in the closing stages. So everybody there with a really strong run, but obviously I think the 8 of Michael Kostick just by far and away the class of the field here today, and I think both the laps led and the overall running position shows it. And with that, it brings us to our results here this evening from Darlington. Your winner, the 8 of Michael Kostick, finishing 1 1/4 seconds to the 1,000th ahead of Daniel Cunningham, finishing just ahead of Andy Kurtz there in third. Lucas Lyons in the 48, finishing fourth. Alex Penn in the 30 in fifth. Dustin Reinsettle up from 13th to make it home in 6th place here tonight in that number 11 Toyota Supra. Justin Ray finishes 7th, exactly where he started. Travis Bieber, good run, up from 14th. He finishes in the 8th position, ahead of Drew Prail in the 80 and the 15 of Matt Grenier. And in 11th place, the first car, 1 lap down, it was the 31 of Blake Hensley, who got tangled up with the 38 of Justin Ray around the midway point of that race. The 93 of Tom Hall had a close call pretty early on. He'll bring it home 12th place, 1 lap down. Cody Anderson in that 42 machine finishes 13th, 3 laps down, just ahead of Bobby Hall Jr. in the 94, and Michael Cole in the 67. And with that, that is going to bring us to the end of our coverage here tonight on Vspeed from the OiL Xfinity Series from Darlington Raceway. Looking ahead to next week, it's the last round of the round of 12 here in the OiL Xfinity Series, where they go to Texas Motor Speedway, and what should be a thrilling main event to the round of 12 to determine which 8 drivers will advance and continue their hunt for a championship alive. If you can't get more OiL action, we've got OiL Truck Series on Monday and the OiL Cup Series on Wednesdays. All of that 9 p.m. Eastern here live on Vspeed. And if you haven't already subscribed to Vspeed, what are you doing? Slap a subscribe button on there, hit a like on this one, and let everybody know that if you want to catch some of the best sim racing you'll see online, this is the place to be. So join us here at Vspeed. We've got races happening just about every night of the week here on this channel. I think on Tuesdays we've got like 3 or 4 going on at once. I mean, it's crazy stuff. We had 4 different races going on here tonight at Vspeed, so never a shortage of racing action here. So this is certainly the place you'll want to be. But for everyone here at Vspeed, as well as those in the OiL Xfinity Series, alongside me has been producer Christian Hill. I've been Alex Gagnon saying thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and we will catch you next week at Texas for the finale of the round of 12.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Marty's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The Milo gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The next